Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got an intriguing report to share with you guys, and one that I think needs to be said in our day and age, especially in light of what's going on. Well, an evil that is far greater than the COVID-19 pandemic is headed in our direction, and you will be unable to escape. And many of us are not prepared for what's ahead. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the satanic kingdom that's rising on this earth, and specifically ushering in the end times spoken of in Bible prophecy. I'm talking about tribulation. I'm talking about events that we've never seen before, extreme weather events, wars and rumors of wars, pandemics and pestilence, and strange things happening and coming upon the earth as if labor pains from a woman who is pregnant. And I think in light of what's happening, we are really seeing those labor pains of Bible prophecy, if you will, coming more and more intensely and more into pass. That's why I wanted to do this report, to encourage you to be on guard, spiritually speaking, get right with Jesus, because today is the day that we're seeing so many things transpire, and we're headed 90 miles an hour in that direction. Let me show you a little bit of what I'm talking about here. The first article here that I have to show you is on survivalblogscience.blog, and its new report: hunger and food insecurities are ravaging the United States of America. And this is a new study that was put out by Northwestern University, and it found that 29 million Americans, or 11%, sometimes or often cannot afford to eat. This is a dramatic rise from 2018, where we only had 8 million reported hungry. Now, obviously, this is a direct result of the COVID-19 lockdowns and mask mandates and telling people to stay home. This is a result of that, because you're literally taking business away from businesses and groups that have been around forever, especially when people are staying home in mass. So this is a direct result of something that the Bible predicted, and that is that there would be hunger, that there would be famine. I also showed this report on Restricted Republic. If you guys aren't there, I want to encourage you, check out restrictedrepublic.com. But I've got additional information on there where I showed the United Nations and how they're predicting it was 130 million, and I believe that's gone up over 200,000 now, that will starve as a result, directly due to a majority of it, the lockdowns that are taking place all across the globe. It's almost as if they have a depopulation agenda, which we all know that they do. And listen, if you're not on Restricted, we don't know how much time we've got left on these massive platforms. So get on over there. Myself and Justice Knight are both there, so you get two of us for the price of one and a 14-day free trial. But I'm digressing. Let's get into some more information, because along with famines and pestilence, we're going to see water shortages, which could cause for some of the droughts and stuff. But this is on strangesounds.org. Water shortages in the United States West likelier and spreading faster than previously thought. So this article kind of gets into some of what's going on in the Colorado River and Lake Powell, Lake Mead, and some of these areas. And these are critical for the survival of mankind, period. We need water. I know that there are some prophecies out there where they predict and talk about water shortages and whatnot, but this is another thing that we have to pay attention to, be prepared for, because the Bible talks about this as well. That's not all. Something else that it predicts is the mass death of animals. And again, we're seeing upticks and spikes in that as well. Here's an article, again, on strangesounds.org. 351 sea turtles found dead in 6 months on same coastline where 137 sea lions died in Mexico. This is, again, very recent. And I've done whole articles on this on Restricted where I've gotten into deep detail about all the animals that have died. But this is just maybe a hair or a needle in the haystack, should I say, of a lot. That's not the right term. I mean, this is just a small piece of the puzzle, and there's like a million pieces, right? But here's another article, the New York Times, New Mexico bird mystery. Why are so many birds dropping dead? And this talks about a massive die-off of birds and animals. And a lot of the mainstream media is going to tell you, oh, that's due to climate change. No, it isn't. In fact, a lot of it's due to the pesticides, the Roundup, the junk that they're using, the chemicals, the chemtrails that are falling from our skies, the GMOs, the playing with our food. That's why it's happening. These things were not meant to be dumped on our heads and in mass. And this is why our animals are being widely impacted, and something that we need to call attention to as well. Here's another report, which also talks about in the Bible, extreme weather. Again, I think that's just the Lord told us it was happening. Doesn't have to do with the climate, chaos, change, global cooling, global warming. There's natural things that happen in the environment. But in this case, with the fires, right? This is the Economic Collapse blog. He says the sign of the times. Unprecedented fires have turned skies bright orange and blood red over California and Oregon. Well, a lot of these fires were started as a result of arson, and as a result of the not clearing out the forest. Basically, they weren't doing control burns or getting rid of some of the dead stuff. This is obviously why it's upticking, because we're passing ludicrous laws saying you can't do that in the name of saving the forest. Well, this is all part of the cycle of forests, is you have burnings and whatnot. So, but that's what's adding to it, not so much climate change. And not to mention, I put out a report, directed energy weapons could also have a play in that. I know some were busted recently, but here's more articles on the fires. This is on strangesounds.org. West Coast fire continues to ravage, range with 11 states reporting 87 fires. And what's interesting, if it was climate change, it wouldn't stop at the US-Canadian border, but it does. Restricted Republic, that's all I can say. But CNET.com, here's increased intensity in weather. Evidence mounts that they're getting stronger and wetter. And here's the thing that could add to intensity of weather. We can seed clouds, literally create rain. We have weather making capability. We have weather modification equipment. So that could also obviously be playing a part. But that's not all. Here's RT News. We're also seeing swarms of animals. We had a whole plague of locusts hit earlier this year. And here's one on RT 2020, not giving up on its destructive pattern. Swarms of winged insects invade Siberian city, leaving Russians stunned. And you can see the swarms there. And I've done a few reports on some of the other stuff. But here's what's even more terrifying is some of the technology that's coming out, right? Like when you think of Bible prophecy, you think of Mark of the Beast, and eventually they're going to have some global system where they are going to implant you, or there will be some kind of mark on your hand or in your forehead, known as the Mark of the Beast in Bible prophecy. And such technology is already readily available. And with this pandemic, and I foresee they could likely attempt to force vaccinate us all, or at least pass rules in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe even you'll see something like you can't get on a plane if you don't have a vaccine. That's something we could see. But these are steps in the direction of microchipping society, which is all a part of their agenda. But here's TruePundit.com. Department of Homeland Security proposes massive expansion of biometric collection, modality collection there. So collecting all your biometric data. Here we have, and this is on Shubat.com, DARPA-funded company makes injectable chip to detect COVID-19. That's terrifying. In other words, put this chip in your body and it'll say if you catch COVID-19, and it'll send a little message to the government or to your health professional or whatever. But imagine, okay, well, now this chip can not only detect COVID, it can detect if you have the flu, or if you have malaria, or if you have tuberculosis. I mean, goodness. How many people would be in the hospital for things that maybe their body can handle on their own? And not only that, but this is a indirect opposition of what God told us to do. Let me put it this way. This is a scary line to be drawn in regards to the mark of the beast, because when you're implanting stuff in your skin, these little chips can eventually be used as things that you cannot buy, sell, or trade without. This is technology heading 1,000,000 miles an hour into that direction. And I don't know about you, but I'm not putting any implant into my skin, period. That's what it's going to be, especially something that's mark of the beast that says you can't buy, sell, or trade without it, or you can't fly, or you can't fill in the blank, whatever it is, right? These are the times that we are headed in. And this is another report. And this is the final one I wanted to show you. Technocracy.news, Google, Pentagon team up for AI to diagnose COVID. This is in conjunction with what he's talking about here. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. You have the AI technology, right, from the Pentagon, from DARPA, and they're teaming up with Google, who Google already has every kind of information on you, what you like, what you don't like, what you search on the internet, what you buy, what you don't buy, how often you're on certain sites, what you believe politically. And here they are teaming up. Imagine what that chip that they eventually want to implant into you could do, right? Terrifying, terrifying stuff. Anyhow, all that to say, Bible prophecy wise, things are playing out and we're headed straight in that direction. And today is the day that we need to give our lives to Jesus, start praying to him, and make sure we are prepared and ready, because we know these things are going to come at some point in time. And that said, that doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. God never said it's 100% going to happen right now. I don't know when all of Bible prophecy is going to come out and the tribulation is going to happen. Anybody who tells you that they do is full of it, because God says nobody knows the day or the hour. I don't. It could be a year away. It could be 6 months away. It could be 5 years away, 10 years away, 100 years away. Who knows? But what we do know is that we have signs of the times, that God never said, stop doing what you're doing because prophecy is happening and there's nothing you could do to stop it. That's not what God said. God said, do everything you can, get the word out, because you will be held accountable regardless of the day or the hour. Anyhow, please don't forget to check out my partner at preparewithlisa.com. I'm a huge supporter of having food on hand, and I want to encourage you guys, make sure you have food on hand for your family and your loved ones, because you never know. This is one way that I personally prepare, and I don't practice. I preach what I practice myself. So this is absolutely, I've got food on hand for myself and my family, much more. I would say months worth, at least 6 months worth of food for my family. But I think these are becoming more of a necessity. So check it out at preparewithlisa.com. And right now they've got $100 off that 4-week food kit there. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.